Have you ever wondered why some people rise to the top while others, no matter how kind or honest, remain stuck at the bottom? Have you noticed how the world tells us to value goodness, honesty, and fairness, yet the people in power rarely follow those rules themselves? The truth about power is not beautiful. It's not clean. It's not even comfortable to hear. It's dark. It's ruthless. And once you learn it, you can never look at the world the same way again. Most people like to believe that success comes from being good, kind, or noble. That's the bedtime story society tells, so everyone can sleep at night. But Machiavelli saw the truth with clear eyes. Power doesn't reward the good. It rewards those who are willing to be strategic, ruthless, and smart, all while wearing the mask of virtue. The powerful don't just follow rules. They create the rules. They smile at you while plotting against you. They act noble while using you as a pawn. And here's the reason most people never learn this. They don't want to. It's easier to believe in comforting lies than to face harsh realities. But if you're still watching this, it means you're ready to hear what most people can't handle. What I'm about to share isn't just advice. It's a weapon. And if you know how to use it, it can change the way you move through life forever. People love to believe that history's greatest leaders were pure and noble. But if you look deeper, you'll see that every throne has blood under it. Every fortune hides secrets. Every powerful figure stepped over someone else to get there, whether they admitted it or not. The history books polish reputations, but if you scratch the surface, you'll always find betrayal, lies, intimidation, and force. That is the true foundation of power. If the world really rewarded pure goodness, saints would rule it. But look around. Who holds power today? Is it saints or predators wearing the mask of gentlemen? Machiavelli understood something vital. Power doesn't fall into the hands of those who sit back and wait. It goes to those who are ready to do what others avoid. Innocence doesn't protect you. It exposes you. That's why powerful people master two faces. The kind, generous one shown to the public, and the cold, strategic one hidden in private. They sign peace deals while planning wars. They smile while preparing betrayal. They give speeches about justice while sharpening a hidden knife. And here's the most dangerous part. People believe them. They believe the smile. They believe the words. Because people want to feel safe, they ignore the truth. But you're not here for safety. You're here to wake up. Behind every empire, every CEO, every politician, there is a hidden book of secrets, compromises, and betrayals. Not because they are evil for fun, but because survival at the top demands it. When you finally accept this, you stop asking, "How can I succeed?" while staying completely innocent. Instead, you start asking, "What am I willing to sacrifice?" To win? Amateurs show their ruthlessness too early. True power hides it. The clever appear kind, merciful, even generous, while privately making hard, cold decisions. That's why Machiavelli advised rulers to always appear honest, merciful, and loyal, even if reality forces them to be the opposite. You don't need to love deception. You just need to understand. Because if you don't, someone else will use it against you. People say, power corrupts. But the truth is, power reveals. It shows who is willing to get their hands dirty, who understands that every crown carries a hidden dagger. Corruption isn't a rare mistake in the system. Corruption is the system. Whenever power gathers in one place, it twists everything around it: money, favors, influence. What looks illegal for you is perfectly legal for them. They don't cheat the system. They are the system. And that's why every empire, every government, every corporation eventually rots from within. Not because people are unusually evil, but because ambition always demands reward. Look around today. Politicians leave office richer than when they entered. Regulators end up working for the same industries they once were supposed to police. Public money disappears while leaders give speeches about serving the people. Is that an accident? No, it's the natural state of power. Machiavelli knew long ago that leaders don't survive by being pure. They survive by being effective. And effectiveness always requires compromise. That's why rulers don't destroy corruption. They manage it. They control who benefits and who gets punished. They make sure the rot serves them. And here's another truth. Information is power. People assume truth spreads freely, but history proves otherwise. Those in power always decide who gets to know what. Centuries ago, princes used spies and messengers to control their kingdoms. Today, governments use surveillance and corporations track every click you make. They don't do it to protect you. They do it to predict you, to shape your choices, and if needed, to use it against you. And what do you know about them? Very little. You see their speeches, their staged photos, their managed scandals, but never the real conversations. Secret deals, the skeletons in their closets. The truth itself isn't powerful. Controlled truth is. And the powerful always control which truth survives. History itself is another weapon. It isn't written by the most honest. It's written by whoever survives. A defeated leader is called a tyrant. A victorious one is called. A visionary. Caesar was called a savior because he won. Napoleon was called a monster because he lost. The actions may have been the same: betrayal, violence, ambition, but the label depends on who writes the last page. Power doesn't just control the present. It rewrites the past. That's why rulers fear erasure more than death. If you lose power, your victories vanish. Your name becomes poison. Your truth dies with you. But if you stay in power long enough, people will call your cruelty order, your destruction civilization, and your ambition service to the people. It's not about being right. It's about being the last one standing. Now, let's talk about chaos. Most people fear chaos. It feels like danger, like the end of the world. But to those hungry for power, chaos is opportunity. Stable times protect rulers and trap challengers. But chaos opens the door for anyone bold enough to step through. In 1 year of crisis, an ambitious person can rise higher than in 20 years of peace. History proves this. Revolutions reward the bold, not the patient. That's why ambitious leaders secretly pray for crisis. War, famine, economic collapse, all disasters for the public, but open doors for those who want power. Of course, chaos is dangerous. Many fail trying to climb during it. But those who survive rise fast. And once they're at the top, they flip the game. Now they use stability to lock everyone else out. This is the rhythm of power. Chaos to climb, stability to rule. And here's a bitter truth. People don't crave freedom as much as they think. What they really crave is safety. Freedom is risky. It means uncertainty. And when fear rises, people trade freedom for security without hesitation. Proves it. In every crisis, people beg for strong rulers. They cheer for strict laws. They accept surveillance and control as long as it makes them feel safe. Machiavelli knew this. He said, "A ruler doesn't need to give people freedom. He needs to give them security, because safety is the real." Addiction. And finally, let's talk about loyalty and fear. People like to believe loyalty holds power together, but loyalty fades. Fear endures. Machiavelli said, "A ruler should want to be both loved and feared. But if you must choose, fear is safer. Love is fragile. People love you when you're strong, but abandon you when you're weak. Fear is steady. It makes people think twice before betraying you. That doesn't mean you should be cruel for no reason. Too much fear makes people desperate, but just enough fear keeps people in line. Loyalty ties people to you only while you give them what they want. Fear ties them to you even when they hate you. And when you finally lose power, and everyone does eventually, you'll see which one was real. Here's the dark truth you must accept. Power is not clean. It's not fair. And it's never innocent. The rulers of history didn't rise by virtue. They rose by survival. And the tools they used, fear, deception, control, weren't accidents. They were the engines of power itself, not now that you see this. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you close your eyes and go back to believing the good guys win just because they're good? Or will you keep learning, sharpening yourself, and becoming harder to control? Because the moment you understand how the game of power is really played, you stop being a pawn, and you start thinking like a player. Anyone who would silence the chaos. Why does this happen? Because freedom requires responsibility, and most people don't want it. It's hard work to govern yourself, to make your own choices, and to live with the consequences. Security, on the other hand, feels easy. When someone powerful says, "I'll handle it, just obey," it's a tempting offer. This is why rulers who understand fear are so effective. They don't even have to take freedom away. The people hand it over voluntarily. All it takes is making them feel threatened by outsiders, by crime, by instability, and they'll accept almost any measure, as long as it promises protection. The cage is comfortable when the world outside looks dangerous. And here lies the darkest truth. Most people don't notice when freedom disappears. They only notice when safety disappears. Take away a man's liberty, and he will grumble. Take away his security, and he will riot. A ruler who provides safety will always be forgiven for stealing freedom. Even today, in modern democracies, this principle holds. Citizens talk endlessly about rights and privacy until there's an attack, a crisis, or a disaster. Then they demand stronger laws, stricter enforcement, more control. Politicians know this. They exploit it. They promise protection, and in exchange, they quietly gather more power. Machiavelli would not call this evil. He would call it natural, because people are guided far more by fear than by principle. A wise ruler doesn't waste time trying to make people love freedom. He focuses on making them feel secure. He gives them symbols of stability walls, armies, police, surveillance, and they reward him with obedience. The paradox is cruel. Those who scream loudest about liberty are often the first to give it up. When they feel unsafe, they think freedom is their birthright, but safety is their addiction. And rulers who understand this addiction can control entire nations without firing a single shot. The lesson is clear. If you want to rule, don't promise. Freedom, promise security. And if you want to stay in power, make sure the people believe danger is always near. That way, they'll keep running back to your protection, even if it costs them everything. People like to believe that loyalty is the foundation of power, that if you treat people well, they'll stand by you forever. It's a comforting myth. But history shows something colder. Loyalty fades. Fear endures. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler should wish to be both loved and feared. But if he had to choose, fear is safer. Love is soft. It shifts with moods, with rumors, with time. People will cheer for you when you're strong, but abandon you the moment you appear weak. Fear is different. Fear doesn't need applause. It doesn't need gratitude. It lives in the gut, unshaken by memory or promises. Look at fallen leaders throughout history. Many were once adored, the kind who kissed babies, gave generous gifts, smiled for the crowds. But when trouble came, their friends vanished. Courtiers defected. Soldiers switched sides. The very people they trusted most were the first to cut deals with the enemy. Why? Because love is cheap. Fear has a price, And fear is not about cruelty for its own sake. It's about certainty. A ruler who is feared never has to guess where people stand. They may plot against you in secret, but they obey in public. They may resent you, but they hesitate before betraying you. Loyalty is a handshake. Fear is a chain. This doesn't mean terrorizing everyone around you. A wise ruler uses fear sparingly, like a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. Too much fear breeds desperation, and desperate people are dangerous. But just enough fear creates hesitation. It makes people pause before crossing you. They calculate the cost, and most decide it isn't worth paying. Even in modern politics and business, this truth still holds. Leaders who rely on charm and popularity are vulnerable the moment public opinion shifts. But leaders who command respect through consequence, the quiet knowledge that betrayal will hurt, don't need to beg for support. People follow them not because they want to, but because they have to. Fear also outlasts memory. People forget favors. They forget kindness. They even forget victories. But they never forget what happened to the last person who betrayed you. One public example, a single ruthless move, can echo longer than years of goodwill. It whispers through halls and boardrooms. Don't try it. You know how this ends. The dark truth is this: loyalty ties people to you only as long as you keep giving them what they want. Fear ties them to you even when they hate you. And when you finally lose power, because everyone does eventually, you'll see which one was real. Those who loved you will vanish. Those who feared you will stay far away, not because they care, but because they still remember. Machiavelli never romanticized human nature. He knew people act in their own interest first, and a ruler must shape that interest. Fear is the simplest way to do it. If the cost of betrayal is higher than the reward, people stay loyal even if they despise you. So while soft-hearted rulers hope to be loved, hard-headed rulers ensure they are feared. And only one of them sleeps soundly at night. Power isn't what we were taught to believe. It isn't noble. It isn't fair. And it's never innocent. If you've followed this far, you've seen the mask ripped away. Rulers aren't guided by virtue, they're guided by survival. And the tools they use, fear, control, manipulation, aren't accidents. They are the engines of power itself. The question is, now that you've seen the truth, what will you do with it? You can look away, go back to the comforting lie that good men win simply because they are good. Or you can keep learning how the game is really played. Because once you understand the rules, you stop being a pawn and start thinking like a player. And now, as we close, you can see what Machiavelli already understood centuries ago. Power is not about noise, appearances, or luck. Power is about foresight, about patience, about knowing when to move and when to disappear, about calculating 10 steps ahead while others are still stumbling on their first. These 7 laws are not just political strategies. They are weapons, tools of survival in a world where the unaware are eaten alive. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people around you will never even notice these laws. They'll keep living on impulse, reacting instead of shaping, hoping instead of planning. But you're not here to hope. You're here to understand how power really works. So ask yourself, will you stay like the many, waiting for luck, waiting for permission? Or will you step into the role of strategist, the one who does not simply play the game, but rewrites the rules? Because that's what Machiavelli would have done. And that's what the greats always do. If you've stayed with me until this point, you already proved something rare. You're willing to look at life through the sharper lens, to embrace truths most people avoid because they are too raw, too unsettling, too real. That alone makes you different. That alone makes you dangerous, in the best sense of the word. So don't just leave this as another video you watched. Take what you've learned, apply it. Watch the shifts small at first, but growing stronger every time you choose strategy over impulse, silence over noise, patience over weakness. That's how you outsmart them all, Doc. So what do these 7 laws teach us? That power isn't given freely, it's taken. Quietly, carefully, and with strategy. Machiavelli knew it, history proved it, and today, you've seen how it still applies. Here's the challenge. It's not enough to know these laws, you must use them. Because while most people live blind, reacting to life, the strategist is always 2 steps ahead. And if you want to play at that level, you must start now. If these dark truths opened your eyes, don't stop here. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications. Not because it feeds the algorithm, but because it keeps you connected to knowledge most people never hear or never want to hear. The powerful already understand these lessons. The question is, will you? Stay sharp. Stay watching, because in the game of power, there is always another move.